we just did a whole practice of scout for the team we're playing. And after practice, he goes, "Oh yeah, you're starting, by the way. Wake up, Rook. I gotta go guard Jayson Tatum tomorrow. Like lock in." I genuinely tell myself like almost every time before I step on the court or like even just at home, like I love basketball. I'm grateful to be playing this sport because like no matter how tiring it can be, no matter how much I like it sucks sometimes. Dan Steven Adams just hit me again on the screen, or regardless of what it is, like I get to do what I was doing since I was 6, but now I get to do it for money. And I get to do it at the highest level. So it's like I really don't got nothing to complain about. Like, I didn't have the Instagram and the ways to put myself out there for people to even know, but you gotta be where your feet are, and you can't get there unless you kill where you at the moment.
Welcome to League Him with Jacob Myers. Today we got Washington Wizards point guard, Bub Carrington.
I appreciate you for having me, always.
If I had told you 2 years ago, a couple weeks into January, you're on Chase Street preparing for the Heat of the Baltimore Catholic League, that in just 2 years you had started 26 games in the NBA, a career high 18 at the Garden, lead all rookies in minutes and assists per game, what would your response have been?
What's the point of even lying to me? That's what I would have said, truthfully. But yeah, definitely. I wouldn't have believed you.
What do you think really has allowed you to make a leap like that in the past couple of years?
It's funny you asked me that because somebody just asked me that question, and we had kind of got into it a little bit. And a lot of people would say that like I worked out a lot. I was in the gym. That's what separated me, and or I had like a killer mentality or whatever. That's what separates me. But like I want to say, kind of the main thing is really like situations. Like I was fortunate enough to have a background, a support system, a dad that like knew kind of a good situation from a bad one. Like you said, transferring to Chase Street was a good one that helped me out, put my name out there, ended up getting me recruited into another good situation at Pitt where I was able to play at a young age. Well, I had to fight for that, but I was still able to do it at a young age. And then, God should stand with me and draft me to another great situation where I can play at a young age. And obviously, with every step of the journey, it comes, challenges. Like you still got to beat people out. There's still players everywhere. You still got to be coachable. You got to do things like that. But I kind of realized the situations that I was in, and I kind of just took full advantage of them. And I would say that's the biggest thing, like the biggest takeaway from like my journey is where I was at. I always made sure I kind of stayed on top of it.
For sure, being present.
Yeah, being where my feet are, for sure.
I thought it was kind of funny, going through the pre-draft process, you were kind of one of those guys that got labeled like a sleeper, or you kind of snuck up on people. Were there moments where you're kind of in your head like, dude, I've been here the whole time? Like y'all are just noticing? Like I was on the EYBL circuit. I played at one of the better
Yeah.
Catholic schools in the country. I was at USA camp. Like,
I mean, yeah, a lot of people, you can't blame people for, ignorance. A lot of this things was they just didn't know. Like, and I don't blame them. Like, I didn't have the Instagram and, the ways to put myself out there for people to even know who I was. But it was kind of like a weird feeling where people who did know who I was and knew what I could do and was still kind of saying stuff like that. But it was just like, I've been hearing that my whole life. Like, that's just going to happen. Like I said, I'm going to try to always put myself in a situation to prove them wrong.
will you consider yourself like a late bloomer?
Yeah, I would. I definitely wasn't, like 3 years ago, like you said, 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, I wouldn't even have guessed this for myself.
For those who don't really know kind of your high school background, like how much did you grow from, let's say, like sophomore year to right now?
Sophomore year to right now, what's that? Almost a foot. I would say about 10, 11 inches since like freshman year of high school, since sophomore year. But yeah, I definitely was a late bloomer in that sense too. But yeah, I just came with it. Got lucky, I guess.
I thought something that was cool is, you told the local media earlier in the season, it's like, you always love basketball, want to take it as far as possible, but in your head, it wasn't like NBA, NBA, NBA. Do you think, you talk about staying present. You think that allowed you to kind of just focus on getting better, and that's kind of how you outdevelop your peers?
100%, 100%. And the main reason I say that is because like the pressure that you put on yourself, like not just numbers wise, only point zero zero whatever makes it, and not because you never know what the future holds, but for the simple fact that you keep pushing that for yourself. It's good, want it, dream for it. It always obviously is a good goal to have, but like I said, that's a lot of pressure you're gonna put on yourself too, and a lot of people can't even stand the pressure that they put on themselves, and that can make or break a few athletes, and it has, and I've seen it before with like my own peers or just people I hear stories about. Like obviously, like I said, it's a good goal to have, and it's a great place to be, but you got to be where your feet are, and you can't get there unless you kill where you at the moment. You know.
Definitely. I liked, we had talked at the, kind of the rookie event when you guys got welcome with Alex and Keyshawn back in June. And
Yep.
you had a great quote that kind of went a little viral. You said, "There's no such thing as staying the same. You're getting better or getting worse." And I think
Yeah.
that kind of is explaining how you just broke that down. So, you end up at Pitt. You didn't spend many months on campus, but now that it's been a little bit, you're kind of in the rhythm of the NBA season. Like, what sticks out to you the most about your journey at Pitt?
I would say definitely like my team. In the league, you got guys from all over. You got guys that's been in America for less amount of time that you've been in the league. You got guys that are 38, you got guys that are 19 like you. Like it's a whole bunch of different things. The locker room's kind of harder to navigate just for the simple fact that it's a bigger horizon to navigate. But like I said, the biggest takeaway I would say is just my team. Like I had a really good team at Pitt as far as like just chemistry wise. And I guess that's something I always kind of miss. Like obviously my team now, oh, I love them guys. Like we all cool with each other, but after practice, after games, like I'm not really seeing you. Like I don't talk to you really that much outside of basketball. But the coaches and the team that I had at Pitt, like we were kind of always together. I would eat dinner at Capel's house some nights, and Coach Brown driving me different places and stuff like that. Like it was, I think Pitt's like a great place for those sleeper type athletes, to kind of thrive because they make it easy, for you to thrive there.
Yeah, I went to practice before the season started, and that stood out. The connectivity of the guys and some of the returners, and they brought a lot of new players in as well. But you ended up getting drafted in the lottery. I know, obviously, you're stuck in the grind, you're staying present, but going through that pre-draft process, was there ever a moment where you looked back and got to appreciate what you did at Pitt?
Yeah, I did actually. It was kind of funny story. The trainer that I was working with during that pre-draft process, like, was bringing to me like some numbers, and he was telling me like, what I shot in college, what I did, how efficient I was, just a whole bunch of like stuff to uh to work on and build on before the draft starts. And he was telling me like all these like number percentiles and stuff that I did, and I was like in a top percentile in a lot of like different stats, and I was like, damn, I guess I was pretty good in college. Like, it didn't seem like it in the moment, especially because of how it ended. It ended the way that we wanted it to end. But I definitely got to sit back and reflect a little bit on what I did in college. And people won't ever let me forget the triple double game. So as much as I tried to.
Yeah, you didn't do much help to yourself there when you almost did it back in Vegas.
Facts. That didn't help.
25 or so games in, like you said, kind of a whirlwind of a year. Like your life's changed the lives of people around you. Have you kind of caught a rhythm?
Yeah, I actually am kind of getting into a routine right now that I'm settling with, but it's not the routine that I want. Obviously, with being a rookie comes a lot of like harder things. You get, the worst times and stuff, and you got to do extra here or a little bit there. But I do have a routine right now that I'm settling into, and it makes it a lot easier when the days start stacking and they start meshing. You seem like you got a game every 3 hours.
Like break down the routine, maybe not to the hour, but like what are some of the things that's kind of helped you make that transition?
All right. So for example, like on a day like this where, you fly into a city the day before a game, this is a pretty average occurrence, in this league. So besides on the off occasion where I have a great interview with Jacob Myers, I would come to the hotel, and I'm most likely to chill. We'll meet up with the team for a little bit, like our little men's group. You know, we'll talk, chill for a little bit. We'll have a team dinner after, and most of that time after that team dinner, I'm probably spending time with one of the older guys on the team. Like we're talking about basketball, we're watching some, or I'm with like Justin. I'm with Justin a lot, you know, just because I know him from Pitt and all that stuff. So it's pretty chill. You pretty much relax, you know, the day before the game, kind of like that. But the routine that I'm settling into is like most of the time I'll find a gym in the cities that we're at, and I'll try to like at least touch a ball, shoot a couple threes, you know, free throws, whatever the case may be. So like I'm actually gonna try to find a gym after the team dinner, after we get off this interview, and that's kind of the routine that I'm settling into. Go to sleep, wake up the next day, got to walk through the day before the game, and then lately I've been napping. I don't usually nap before games, but lately I've been napping. Get your nap in, wake up, go to the game. I gotta be there at like 3:30, but you know, get there, do all the stuff you gotta do, play at 7.
You know, everyone has, you know, these blanket statements on like the jump from college to the NBA, whether it's like the 3-point line or the frequency of games, the traveling. I heard Dame say for him, it was the terminology. Like he said, he used to be in Vanderpool and he'd be like quizzing him about all the terminology. And he said for him, it took him to like year 2, year 3 to feel like, all right, well, I'm walking down the court. He's saying this, I'm gonna make an adjustment, stuff like that. But like for you, now that it's been 3 months, 4 months, like a lesson that stood out.
Yeah, I would say, and this kind of isn't even really basketball related a little bit, but it's just something I learned, and I think it's actually really important. Like you gotta always present yourself how you want to be known, you know, because like they know everything about you. They jot down everything. They keep in their notes. Like no matter who it is in the facility, no matter who it is even just around the facility, no matter who it is, wherever you are, you know, always present yourself how you want to be known. And that's one thing I'm definitely learning. You know, just off the basketball side of things. And I would say probably on the court, sleep matters. You know, that's pretty much like a blanket statement too, but it really do. Like you gotta find time to get you to sleep because when you're in a position where I am fortunate enough to be playing a heavy load, that's still 50 to 80 screens I get hit with a night. That's still 3.4 miles I'm running every game. That's still, you know, it's like, so you got to give your time to, you got to give your body that time to get that back.
The naps seem like the biggest veteran move. Is that one of the best pieces of like vet advice you've probably gotten?
Definitely one of, for sure. Malcolm was telling me a lot about that. Brogdon, he introduced me to it. It's a huge thing. And okay, I would say another thing I'm learning is like, you know, you transition into a life, right? That's completely different from anything that you probably ever know. Don't expect people to understand, you know, like what you're doing. Like one thing that like the investor telling me, like whoever is super involved in your life, you know, family, significant others, you know, cousins, you know, whatever the friends, whatever the case may be, like let them know early what it's gonna be. All right, listen, you know, I got this, that every day. I gotta do this every other day. Like sometimes I just don't have time to be talking. I don't have the energy to do this. You know, like let those people know because if you don't, it's just gonna make it a lot harder on you. Stay with expectations that you had previously, but now your life's different. So everything gotta kind of change.
You know, Kuzma said to the national media, you can tell he's grateful to be here. He's happy to be here in the NBA. He wants to hoop. He loves to hoop. Like, like where does that joy come from?
I genuinely tell myself like almost every time before I step on a court or like even just at home, like I love basketball. I'm grateful to be playing this sport. Cause like no matter how tiring it can be, you know, no matter how much I like it sucks sometimes. Dan Steven Adams just hit me again on the screen, or you know, I can't hit a shot tonight. Regardless of what it is, like I get to do what I was doing since I was 6, but now I get to do it for money. And I get to do it at the highest level. So it's like I really don't got nothing to complain about. And especially being in this organization right now, being in the position that we are, you can't let our situation kind of affect, you know, who you are and how you handling things. Like I'm trying to be hopefully be here for a while and hopefully kind of stamp myself in the league. And, to do that, I got to show them that I could handle certain things in every situation. And right now, we're in a dire situation. So I want to show them that I can still be present, even with my age or maturity or whatever the case may be. Like, I can still be someone that, people are going to look at to know that he ain't ever going to change, you know?
Definitely. I like how you mentioned, you have a kind of an opportunity to shape the future of the city you're in. It's a very unique situation. And it kind of parallels a little bit. You and Jalen were one of the youngest backcourts in college basketball last year. Obviously different, but like you went through your lumps. Like you got a lot of different things thrown at you, whether it's different ball screen coverages or like when you guys played Florida, like they're sitting on your right hand like crazy, not
Yeah.
getting foul calls, stuff like that. Like, did that help you this year with what you're going through?
Oh, yeah, it definitely did. And like you said, I'm kind of in similar situations where I have a coach that believes in me. Like, just like Capel, BK be ringing in my ear, just like, Capel saying the same things. Like, you know, you a dog, like whatever the case may be, like be confident, be you, like do you. And it, like I said, having that platform last year, having that kind of platform that my dad said, it makes it a lot easier being here now, but it is still completely different. Because in college, it's still about 60% of people there playing for fun. There is 100% of people in this league playing for food on the table. So it's like, trying to navigate that as well on top of the situation that we're in, on top of the age, on top of, all that other stuff. It's definitely a lot different. But like I said earlier, ain't much I really can't handle.
I know you're a hoop junkie. Some guys fake it, especially pre-draft. They like their agent gives them like three really good pro comps. You know what I mean? And they're like, "Yeah, I watched
Yeah.
this guy, I watched this guy," and they fake it. I can tell you don't fake the funk there. So I know you're a hoop junkie, and I actually, honestly, I talked to Jalen in our film session with him. He kind of broke down how you guys would watch games together. You would watch whether it's like NBA clips or like more team specific stuff. So you're someone who like has a gauge of the NBA. Like you watch the NBA, you're a basketball fan. Who's someone you played against this year where like they deserve way more respect? Like I'm not saying someone like snuck up on you, but you kind of playing against them, you're like, damn, like this dude is cold.
It's a good question, actually. It's a very good question. It's a few people. Number one, I can say Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis is cold. I did not know that. Did not respect his game as much as I do now after playing him. And Josh Christopher, he's actually really good basketball player. Really shifty, knows how to score, and a lot of people don't really talk about that. Who else like majorly surprised? Because like I can't say many people really surprised me because I pretty much, like you said, I pretty much kind of know what to expect from people. But yeah, I'll probably say those two. Bobby Portis really surprised me though.
What surprised you about Bobby Portis? I mean, he's
I
been
just
in some playoff series. Like you should have been able to see it.
I just didn't know he was a scorer like that though. Like I've obviously, you watched him on the Bucks, you watched him even Team USA, but like, on both of those teams, he was a connector, really. Like maybe what took maybe 6 shots a game. But it's like when he's told to like go, like whenever Giannis is out or even when Giannis is in, like when he's told to you score, he can do it well. I did not know that.
I like that. Bobby Portis, Josh Christopher, two very different players.
Yeah,
What has been kind of your welcome to the league moment?
man. All right. Matter of fact, it's a game you talked about earlier. Playing the Knicks in the Garden, Jericho Sims. I'm picking up full court on, I don't think it's Brunson because it's late in the game. I'm picking up full court on Cameron Payne, I believe. And he kind of like in and out, kind of like got by me a little bit. I'm chasing him down. I'm eyes on his hips because I know he like to snatch. I know he got moves. And I look up for a half a second.
2 rebounds. Hard screen set by Sims.
And die immediately. Run right into Jericho Sims. Hardest screen I probably ran into ever in my life. I actually went down for a few plays. Yeah, that was definitely my first one. like, I was just say, like, on court wise, like, all right, wake up, like, this is what it is. And it's not what a real welcome to the league moment is that not a lot of people would tell you. But my real one was when I got fined for the first time. I was like, dang, like my actions really, I really gotta pay for this. Like I really gotta pay for the stuff I do. Like that's crazy.
That's funny.
But that's not welcome to the league. And it's money too. Like they really be taxing.
That was from a tech?
Yeah, that was from a tech. I ain't getting no more tech.
No more techs. If you were starting in the ACC right now, like,
Oh
hey,
my
what
goodness.
is different? Like, let's say you like, they played Duke at Cameron Indoor, was that last night, maybe 2 nights ago?
That score, that whole game would be so much
Alright, so
different.
what's different? Break it down, because you had a pretty good freshman season. I mean, you were a lottery pick.
With the stuff that I know now, just like the physicality of the game that I know now, like different ways to navigate defenders and stuff like that. Like, I just feel like if you were to put any NBA player in a college basketball setting, like it would look very different. You would visibly see the levels, in my opinion. And like you asked about me specifically, if I were to be in the ACC right now, I would be averaging 30 points. We would not lose a game either. Especially with my team, with my squad, with Jalen and G and Zach, Ish, man, we wouldn't lose. We would not lose a game.
So have you been able to keep up with the team much?
Yeah, I talked to him the other day. I told G about his ass getting dunked on.
What's kinda your takeaway this year? Is it a little weird watching the team?
Yeah, it's a little weird, like, watching him because I was literally just there a couple months ago. But, I enjoy it, though. Like, I enjoy watching Jalen especially. Like, I like seeing, like, the player that he is. Like, I always vouch for Jalen. Like, that boy nice for real. And, I like how he's playing. So I like watching him just to see how he navigates, being in college for a second year.
I read this the other day. It says Jalen Lowe says he played as former Pitt guard Bub Carrington at NBA 2K25 one time and said never again. They don't let him move like the real Bub. Is that facts? Have you used yourself in 2K?
I actually have never had a 2K in my life. Don't even have the one that I'm in.
They don't give you one for free?
They do. I gave it to my cousin though, because I don't play 2K. I have been told by a lot of people though that like a lot of people say I'm ass in the game, like I'm terrible. Yeah.
Better be good in real life.
Yeah.
Off of kind of comparing Pitt to the NBA, how do you think your game's evolved already halfway into an NBA season?
I would say my game's kind of involved more into I would say as cerebral as I was. I think it's like kind of even more like thinking the game, especially at this level. Like you have to be able to think the game at a high level and think it quickly. And I would say I'm more of like a savvy defender. I always have confidence in my ability to defend anyone, but I also feel like I kind of know how to defend certain people. Which they're obviously teaching me some of the stuff I learned on my own. Most of it I learned, from coaches and stuff and watching film. But I would say I'm more shifted into a savvy defender. And I slashed, had what like 2 dunks in Pitt. I know I've got like double digit now. So I'm really an athlete, like a pro athlete for real. So that's how I change.
I like that you brought that up. So I had talked to your dad during pre-draft, and he was disgruntled. He didn't like the narratives around your game, whether people saying you couldn't get to the rim or you couldn't. And
Yeah.
he's like, Jake, he broke it down for me like 20 minutes. It was a hell of a sell.
What did he say?
He kind of broke it down. It's
Oh,
like you late growth spurt. You're a really
yeah.
tough shot maker. Like that's natural for you. You have a fluid pull up, so like you haven't had to get to the rim because you're making shots.
When people say that, like I don't think anything of it. Like you said, I've been around basketball for a long time. So like I've been see guys. My dad has put guys through this exact process before. So I've heard all the noise that people will say about them. And honestly, I've heard a lot worse. I've heard that guys getting drafted top 20. Oh, but he can't dribble, he can't shoot, da da da. My biggest problem is that y'all think I can't finish well around the basket. I'll take it. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I will take it. That's my biggest criticism. I guess I can't finish. You know, that's what I would say. But, yeah, he's right though, like, to me personally, it was never a problem where, like, I can't finish. It was really just a problem, like, to me, this pull-up is more of a layup than the layup. In college, it was.
You talk about being more cerebral, especially like savvy defensively, whether it's trying to avoid getting hit by a 7-footer or, screen actions or getting caught on a scramble or something. But maybe more offensively, like, has your approach changed at all? Like, the NBA is a different league. You're in a
Uh,
different system. There's different priorities. Like you said, you're playing more games. Like, your tendencies as a player, if you had to like break yourself down, like, what do you think's changed the most?
Probably, like, just shots wise, like, I'm not as aggressive as I was in college, which speaks for itself. Um, I would say I shoot the ball better than I did in college though, especially, from 3. I'm, like, real confident in that. Well, in college, being the main ball handler and, being the main, shot taker and maker, like, or second man, if we did have Blake. Uh, Not really a lot of, like, catch and shoot or easy shots came to me. Now in the league, everybody's nice. You gotta worry about everybody. It's not just really one guy on the scout report. So I am able to get a lot more catch and shoot threes and easier basket cuts to get dunks and stuff like that. So I would say I'm more of a all around offensive basketball player. Like at first in college, it was kind of like a one trick pony. He's gonna bring the ball up, he's gonna ask for a ball screen, and he gonna shoot that pull up or he's gonna hit Blake or something. It was really kind of one dimensional. But I would say I definitely shifted into a more all around offensive basketball player.
Over the past about 11 or 12 games now, like, you're actually leading all rookies in 3-point percentage. Do you feel like you're shooting the ball better?
I'm just shooting them a lot more. Like I just work on it a lot more. And like many of us, like we're all kind of rhythm players. Like, the more we do it, just the easier it becomes. So I definitely feel like I'm shooting the ball a lot better. I didn't know to the numbers, but it feels good and it comes out of my ass for sure.
Another tweet for you. So it says Jared Butler had very interesting things to say about what he's seen from Bub Carrington. Say he catches on to things way too fast. He'll challenge or discuss play calls or coverages like he understands it, and that's a lot to do as a rookie. So I talked before about, Dame, like that was his biggest area he had to grow. Is that something where you kind of take pride in? Like, man, I've been around basketball my whole life. Like, I'm not a normal rookie.
Yeah, I do. It's not something I flaunt. I don't try to like let people know that, but it's definitely something I notice. Like I'm always kind of noticing how like when we doing something, going over something new, anything like that, like rookies, even some second year guys will have questions. I'm like, what did you just ask that for? But like I said, not a lot of people know, you know, what I know. So it's like I definitely take pride in it. But I don't ever get complacent with it either. Like Jared said, I still ask questions. I still always trying to like know more. But I'm definitely grateful for, I guess, the brain that I have.
Would you credit that to your family? Like, do you think it's just kind of the way you were raised around the game?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. If I had any other parents, I would be dumb as a rock.
Off of that, you had, a pretty incredible journey. Like, you're not the usual rookie. You had to really have a lot of self belief. And like you said, stay focused on improving. What would kind of your advice be to players that more in your situation where maybe they have friends that are like on these mock drafts or they're being told like, you're the guy, they're being anointed early. What's kind of your advice to players that they're not getting that type of validation from others and they got to stay locked in and do it themselves?
Like kind of what I said earlier, just be where your feet are. Like you gotta literally just not care about it. Like like I said earlier, like you saw I wasn't highly recruited, whatever the case may be in high school. I didn't know that. I didn't care to know for it. Just be where you are, like and always kind of trust the situation, you know, that you in. Like don't go into anything thinking that it's the worst or thinking that you can't get anything out of it. Because even if McDonough wasn't like my first high school wasn't the best basketball option, I got a lot out of McDonough. I played. I still ended up playing as a what do they call it in high school? Freshman. So I ended up playing as a freshman. Still ended up starting as a freshman. Still ended up, doing whatever the case may be. Now, it wasn't no St. Francis. It wasn't no Pitt or anything like that, but it's still something. I still had to be where I was at and still get better at where I was at. So that's probably the main thing I would, give to other people in my similar situation. Like, just trust who you are.
Over this past, let's say 5 months, like, is there one kinda, like, highlight moment, whether it's you're doing something with your family or whether it was the first time you got called into the starting lineup? Like, is there a moment where you kinda had to pinch yourself?
Yeah, you just said it. The day before our first game of the season, and we're playing Boston tomorrow, and during that whole training camp, during the whole before the start of summer, Vegas, whatever the case would be, like, our it was already relayed to me, you're a rookie, you're gonna be playing X amount of minutes most likely. You have this margin of error for mistakes. You can only do this, you can only do that. And it's cool. I'm a rookie, like I'm 19. I'm like, all right, you said I get played 6 minutes a game. And then 24 hours for that game, uh, I wanna say Malcolm Brogdon got hurt maybe a week or a couple of days before that game, something like that. And BK comes up to me, BK, our coach. He's like, "Oh," after practice too, mind you. We just did a whole practice of scout for the team we're playing. And after practice, he goes, "Oh yeah, you're starting, by the way." Yes. All right. And DV was next to me, Vanderpool, and he was also telling me, he was like, "Wake up, Rook," and he like kind of pushed me up and was like, "All right, yeah, I gotta go guard Jayson Tatum tomorrow. Like, lock in."
Weeks ahead, months ahead, does it all start to blend together, or can you kinda in your head, like, picture what happened within each game?
And actually, some vets were telling me about this. When you're younger, they kind of mesh. Like for me, like it's like I don't even know what today is. Yeah. Like, but like as you start to get older, you start to get used to it. That's why vets be having all those crazy stories. They can remember a lot more. But like when you're younger, you don't really because you're not used to it. Not I wouldn't say a lot of it's meshing, but like you asked me to name what happened the ninth game of the season. I don't even know who we played.
So with all these games, like, I know you're a basketball guy, like, how do you wind down? What's kinda Bub off the floor?
You got to kind of fall in love with like watching basketball. You know, just to wind down. Um, when you watch it so much, you you love it. It's your job. It's what you do, but it can get boring, and that's the good thing. That's what you want. Wind down by just watching basketball. It'll get boring. You'll get tired of it. You'll go to sleep. You'll recover, and that's probably the best thing you could honestly do for yourself to wind down.
So you're killing league pass every night?
Killing it, destroying it. It's for free.
Yeah, so you did take the league pass, you let the 2K go to a family member.
Yeah, I got the league back.
League pass is nice, man. Obviously, you don't wanna give too much respect to people you're competing against, like, are there teams you, like, prefer to watch on league pass?
Prefer to watch any team with someone I know. Like I'll turn on what who did we just play? I'll turn on Rockets, play the Rockets. I'll turn on Memphis, like for Ja or something because we had the same trainers. I'll turn on any guy that I watch. He got in our draft class, like when Jared was playing, I was watching Sixers. I watched a lot of Spurs for Steph.
What's it like to compete against some of these guys in the NBA when you played against them in high school?
Oh, it's fun. It's fun. And it's kind of funny too, because to watch how everyone rolls is different now. Like we were all like averaging 40 or whatever in high school, and like we were all doing something different now. It was fun. It's like compare and obviously like to talk and play against them and stuff like that.
Yeah, I appreciate your time, Bub. Kinda last thing before we go, we have a lot of players that follow League Hemp. People see you finding success very early in your career. What would you kinda
Yeah.
share, push people forward, keep them going?
All right, I'm about to give them some real stuff, real spill. No matter what it is, it could be the smallest thing. Find something that you do well or you want to do well in basketball. Catch and shoot threes, pull up, passing, defending, blocking shots, like whatever it is, master it. Just do whatever you can to just master it. Because now at least you have a label. At least we can refer to you as something. And, you know, I'm giving them the real spiel, that's just what they look at. All right, what does he do first? You got to master whatever it is and just be coachable. That's the second thing. But like I said, like just master whatever it is because it'll take you far. Like the thing that I mastered was the pull up. And even it isn't even the most valued shot in the NBA. They hate it, honestly. But it's something that can get you to the table. You just gotta get there. Now, when you get there, I can't tell you what to do. Everybody's situation different. But at least get a cup of coffee. At least master something. At least get yourself there, and then you can figure it out from there.
Appreciate your time coming on the podcast, newer podcast. We appreciate your journey. If you had to watch this interview in like 10 years, like what would be the boxes you want to check off?
I want to check off, because I can say this about someone else. There was an interview I watched when I was younger on Terry Rozier. It's just some like interview like this with like some guys that weren't necessarily like billions and millions of followers, something like this. And it was something that he said that I remembered. And hopefully in 10 years, a basketball player watching this and something I remember that helped them get to wherever they at.